I tell my kids, here's my job as your dad. My job is to find out what your passion is, and then we're going to figure out how we can make that a paycheck. If we can turn your passion into paycheck, like, we going to be good.
I hope somebody heard that, because it's not just for your kids. That's for people watching this.
Make a paycheck out of your passion. You're going to be happy.
Welcome. We are back here today, the Todd Boffo Show, and I am so thankful and excited to have Joey Boy here with us. Wah, wah, wah. And for those of you who know him already, those of you who don't know, he is on the radio. So he runs a show, 101.5 FM here in Phoenix.
Absolutely.
But he's also been in California. He was born and raised in Philly. You see the shout out Philly gear going on.
Are you wearing this for me, or
not just for you, but you give me a reason to propagate.
You're like a billboard. Visit Philly.
I know. It's like, well, I don't need you necessarily to do this, but it just gives me more of a reason.
You know what's crazy? How the city of brotherly love is Philly.
Yeah.
Crime rate is crazy right now. Can you talk to somebody about that?
Yeah. Well.
You see how he took a big drink of water?
Yeah.
Well,
let's talk about that. I mean, look, the problem is we've had a lot of people move in from out of town.
Yeah.
It wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
And I moved out, so I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
But we need to talk to the mayor about that, bro.
Yeah.
Police force. It is bad. Well,
It's really
most
bad.
major cities aren't
really,
great.
listen, I'm going to Philly for a family reunion Tuesday, and I have 5 members of my four or five, are cops. So I get the lowdown.
Oh, so they're telling you the real deal.
Oh, they're telling me the real deal, that the news isn't knowing and the media is knowing, and what the mayor is not doing. I'm like, oh, we got to get it together in Philly.
Yeah, you need to go to the Jersey Shore. You need to land in Philly and get out of Philly.
Fist pump.
Yeah.
Actually, if the weather permits, I think we're going to try to do the shore. See, if you're on the West Coast, you go to the beach.
Right.
East Coast to shore.
You got to go to the shore.
Got to take
and
the
I'm
kids
not
to
talking about
shore.
Jersey Shore. Go to Ocean City, Wildwood.
Wildwood.
Great boardwalks. There's rides.
Yes.
I mean, and then the kids can have a good time. It's
Absolutely.
safe.
I had to explain to the kids that we might go to the shore. They had no idea what they're talking about.
For real?
Because when we visit my parents, they're in LA, so we go to the beach. So they didn't know what a shore was.
Right.
But you're right. Like, Wildwood is the go-to.
Wildwood is the go-to. So in my family, my dad's side's all Italian. So we went there. Aunt Marguerite was down there. And you go down there, and you're going to leave heavier than you got there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like most Latino grandmoms or aunts or like tias, you're leaving heavier. No matter how much work you do, you're going to eat nonstop. So I loved it going there. And their beaches are huge.
It's huge,
Massive
man.
beaches.
I can't wait to get to Philly, man. It's a great city if you live on the outskirts. North Philly's a little tough.
For the record, I grew up in South Jersey, so I was 25 minutes out. I had an insulator, so that's why I'm more normal.
No, my family was from the hood. Some of them still live in the hood. North Philly.
North Philly, yeah.
Oh, man, it's bad.
Well, up there, it's Little Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah, there's more Puerto Ricans in Philly than Puerto Rico.
Yeah, so I tell people this, you know this. So I said, man, it's so funny, it's this movie here. I met way more Mexicans. It wasn't that we didn't have Mexicans there, but I met all my friends growing up, way more Puerto Ricans than I ever met Mexicans. Dominicans, but it was definitely more.
Big Puerto Rican community.
There's a place up there called Porky's Point.
I know exactly where Porky's Point
No
is.
way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know, and we're not talking about a club. This is actually, it's a food place.
I know exactly that spot. Yeah.
That place is jam.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, Tierra Colombiana is a really cool restaurant.
Okay.
It's Cuban and Colombian.
Oh,
the
nice.
menu has 2 sides. So it's one is all Cuban, the other one's all Colombian, and then they have the upstairs is all dance stuff on the weekends.
You never thought about doing like a Philly restaurant out here?
I have thought about it. I have, because I went to culinary school. I love to cook. But I got so many other things on my radar. Maybe one day you'll see Boffo's. But
Boffo. Who wouldn't? Boffo's Point.
Boffo's Point. Italian roast pork.
Stop it.
I mean, Philly's great for food, but I mean the history. So if you go to Philly, yes, it is dangerous, but you just got to be careful. And I think you have the art museum, you have the
Liberty Bell.
Yeah, the Constitution Center.
Betsy Ross House, Benjamin Franklin. Actually, I'm going to make it an educational trip for my kids too. We have a family YouTube channel. So we are going to film the family, But I also want my kids to get some education out there and let them know, it's a very declaration
The
of
whole
independence.
country started there.
Exactly.
So when anybody dogs us, especially Dallas fans, because let's be honest,
Yeah.
they got issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, we're so great. How many rings do you have? I'm like, how many rings do you have? Let's get out of VHS and look. The last time
You're
won.
welcome for your freedom.
I know. Yeah, we only gave you the country. Thanks for giving us big hats.
True.
But no. So you start. You're on the radio. You're in other business ventures. I know you're an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah.
But how did that get started with your first gig on the radio? And was that something you always wanted to do, or music? What was that like?
You know what was crazy? I was just telling, I met someone wonderful in my life, new girlfriend, and she's getting to know me, and she's a really good interviewer, and I do that for a living. She asked me these key questions, and she asked me, like, because she sees me and she's heard of me on the radio, and she's like, when did you know you wanted to do this, and what did you know or that you were famous in radio? And I'm like, you know what? I remember being in junior high, 12, 13 years old. I would practice, and this is back in the days when people actually wanted autographs. I don't think people want autographs anymore. They want a picture.
You rarely see
or
it.
a video. Yeah.
Yes. Good point.
Picture or video now. They don't do autographs.
No.
I remember being in junior high practicing my autograph. And she's like, practicing autograph. I felt like I was going to be somebody, but I didn't know what I wanted to be or what I was going to be.
Wow.
But I remember like really, that's too legible. Because I would see people giving autographs and you see it's like a squiggle. And it was the weirdest thing. So then flash forward to high school, they had career day. And I was sick that day. So the next day I got back, they gave me a slip of paper. This is what was chosen for you. And one was hotel management. I'm like, pretty cool. And the next was DJ.
Whoa.
It just said DJ. Now, I thought in my head, this is going to be cake. I'm going to get credit for a DJ.
Right.
I'm going to listen to music, you know? When I went in, I sat down in the class, probably had 25 students. This guy walked in named Frank Lozano. Hey, kids, Frank Lozano, Power 106. This is what I do. Remember the old school? You pushed in the big VCR with TV, popped in the VHS, pressed play. He sat down, read a magazine, and it was a video of him doing radio.
Oh, wow.
Like him on the radio. I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy that I listened to while doing homework.
Wow.
Back in the day, kids, we listened to the radio while doing homework.
Yes.
We didn't have iPads and there was just, you listen to the radio.
And you listen to commercials.
Listen to
You
commercials.
couldn't skip through anything.
And you had a tape deck, press the record
Yes,
for the
sir.
music.
Yeah.
And you hated when guys like me would talk.
Like, let it just go. Let the music play.
So I was like, just possessed on the TV. I was just like, that's what I want to do. I want to be on radio.
Wow.
And at that moment, and as we were leaving, I asked Frank Lozano. I don't remember my exact questions because I was kind of like starstruck. Like, wow, this is Frank Lozano from Power 106. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I got out of that class and I told my friends, I'm going to be on the radio one day. They're like, oh, yeah, give me a shout out one day. They were just making fun of me, roasted me. So that was 15, Frank Lozano, #1 night show in LA. At 23, I had the #1 night show of Frank Lozano's Old Shift.
No way.
So
Wow.
8 years later, I had his show, Nights, Power 106. And I became friends with him. I told him, you're the reason why I got into radio. But I remember being 15,
Was he like a
16.
mentor for you as well?
Yes, very much. He was great. I was 15. Luckily, the station. If you ever go to Burbank, California, it's like Radio Central. Like all the radio stations are there. The TV, you got NBC, and that's where they film all these. Where I was in Burbank was like Warner Brothers was there, NBC.
Yeah.
So the radio station there. So I would ride my bike at 15, applying. The front desk girl, Corey, knew my name. I would just go in. Corey, can I fill out? She's like, oh, you're so cute. You got to be 18. I did that for 2.5 years.
Wow.
Still, I would call into the radio station. Didn't matter. I could be winning a purse. It didn't matter to me. I wanted to be present. I manifested it out before manifestation was a thing. They're going to know my name here. So by the time I got a job in promotions there, they had met this little kid, Joey, since 15 years old.
Right.
That finally, when I got to 18, they knew me. So it was all about persistence, and I knew what I wanted to do. There was no plan B. I'm going to do radio. They all knew me, and they kept riding. They kept cheering me on, like, go, 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 go. Then 8 years later, I have Frank Lozano's Shift. I didn't take it from him. By that point, he had moved on.
Right.
But to this day, I hit him up every once in a while on Instagram. Almost 30. I've been doing radio almost 30 years now.
Man.
I still hit him up, thank him.
Wow, that's cool. I gotta say something about that real quick, because there's people watching this that are in between. Some of them are in the lane that they're supposed to be. Some of them are in between. Some are in that hustle stage. And I love a couple things I just want to point out. I want to highlight this because this is important. What you talked about was like, hey, you manifest it. You just keep showing up. Here's what I've heard people say, you got to fake it before you make it. I understand it, but I think we got to faith it before you make it. You need an image of what it is that you're called. Everybody came here hardwired with everything in your life. Like, God didn't ask me how tall I want to be.
Right.
He didn't ask me what color. He didn't ask me what gifts. I talk a lot.
If he
asked
you how tall you would want to be, how tall would you want it to be?
How tall?
Yeah.
I probably go 6'3", 6'4".
I was going to say 6'4" is a good height.
6'3".
How tall are you?
6'3".
5'11". I would even settle
that's
for
where I'm at,
5'11".
okay.
Puerto Ricans.
But I really don't. It's not something I really worry about. I'm cool with where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because my hiking height is 6 foot.
You're hiking?
Yes, my hiking height is 6 foot. So
I like
I'm
that.
5'10" and a half. So my hiking height's
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Faith until you make it. I like that.
Until you make, because here's the thing. You're hardwired for something.
Right.
There is something. Everybody's a 10 at something. You're here for a reason. And it's like everybody's good at things. And what happens is through life, things happen. Life happens. And nobody just gets this handed to you. Nobody gets it handed to them.
Yes.
Nobody does. Matter of fact, and if it is handed, usually you lose it quicker. The more you hand something to somebody, the less they value it, right?
Right.
So we need help. We need encouragement. So what you said was really good. And for some of you watching, I want you to think about that, because maybe you're in something and you're meant to be in something else. Or maybe you just keep trying to just feel like, man, doors, don't give up. Don't give up. I mean, if that's really in your heart to do, and you know you're going to be good at it, it takes a tenacious spirit, and you can't just pray. Prayer's not enough. Hope is not a strategy. So like all of these things. Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you did. No, I love this.
And what are you doing? You're showing up for yourself.
Show up.
Most people don't show up for themselves. They do a better job with showing up for everybody else, and then they're the last ones. And then they worry. We get upset. I've done it myself. I'm guilty of that. And like, man, well, what about me? What about this? What about that? I'm not talking about living self-centered and selfishly, but I am saying you have to be selfish about building your life, because nobody else can do that.
Well, you're taking care of self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So what was that like when you first, do you remember the first time you actually got on radio, the very first episode?
Well, I got hired on promotions, making $5 an hour. At that point, I moved out of my parents' house. I'm leaving. $5 an hour. So $5 an hour. And what I was doing was hustling. I worked at the radio station, and I would take the power van, and I would have some leftover prizes, T-shirts, stickers, keychains. I'll go Jack in the Box, McDonald's. You guys want some power? And power we were number one.
Right.
The station was number one. Can I get some stickers? Can I get some food?
Yeah.
Barter. The power of barter.
Come on. But that's from Philly roots. That's a Philly thing right there.
It's such
that's
a Philly
thing.
Philly
people are hustle stuff. And I know people in
to.
LA and California hustle too.
You had to.
Yeah.
So I did that for a couple of years. Finally got in. Me and my partner at the time, Johnny, big shout to Johnny. We were promotion kids. Got tired of making $5 an hour. My dream was to be on the radio. I asked him, do you want to do an air check? Now, an air check is where you do a tape. You record yourself how you would sound, give it to the bosses. Like, how would Joey sound on the radio? Promotions weren't...
like an audition?
Like an audition. Yeah, like an audition tape. We weren't allowed in production. So one night we snuck in.
Okay.
So we went in. Now, our breaks were 30 seconds. We didn't know how to use the equipment. We snuck in from 1 and the morning show came in, and we knew we had to get out before the morning show.
Right.
So we got in there about 1. We had 5.5 hours to figure out how to do this equipment and record 5 breaks. It took us all of those 5 hours to record 2 minutes.
Wow.
We figured it out, did it, went home, took a nap, went right back, gave it to the programming assistant at that time. Now, the program assistant, big shout out to Corey Esquivel. Love Corey. She was the front desk clerk when I was that little kid riding my bike.
That she knew who you were, yeah.
She knew where I was. I go, Corey, can you take a listen to this? Me and Johnny did this. She's like, sure. The following day after that, this is like a span of like, all right, do it. Next day, give it to Corey. Following day, Corey calls me, hey, Bruce wants to talk to you. I go, Bruce, he was the music director. I'm like, we're fired. He found out we got in production. He sat me and Johnny down, and he's like, heard the tape. we're like, what type? He's like, don't play stupid with me. We're like, we're fired. Like, Bruce, we just wanted to know. He goes, you guys want to be on this weekend? We're like, what?
Wow.
He's like, you guys. So within 4 days of us sneaking in, we were on air. 1 a.m, graveyard shift. But to me, in my head, it was so funny. I made it. My whole dream was to be on radio. I'm on radio. So technically, in my head, I made it. It was not non-paid. We're like, made what? Make my own sandwich here.
At night?
At 1 to 2 in the morning.
Right.
Then we had like a couple shifts, and I felt good. I felt like I literally was Superman, bro. I felt like I made it. And we did it for 2 or 3 months. We're killing it. Everyone's like, yo, you guys sound great. You sound awesome. So big shout to Bruce. You know Bruce. Bruce St. James?
Yeah.
He does a KTAR.
Yes.
Yeah. That was my boss. He's the one that gave me my shot.
Wow.
Yes. So after 2 or 3 months, they offered us nights. It happened like this, bro. My head was spinning.
And then you never went backwards from that point? Was it mostly?
I got fired from that job. We did. Man, this radio career, it's been a roller coaster. And big shout to anybody who's done radio, who is doing radio. It's such a love-hate. I feel like I have the greatest job ever. Just because it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. And I've got fired, I've got rehired, I've had to move for a gig. I went from LA to Houston to Ventura to little time in San Francisco, Phoenix, back to Ventura, Chicago, back to Phoenix.
I remember that, yeah.
So it's just been a whirlwind, and a bigger shout out to the mothers, the wives and husbands that have to move with their person.
Yeah.
So it's a tough gig, but I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And it's just my faith, and like you said, I had my faith and I prayed on it so hard. It's all I wanted, bro. Oh my gosh. When I was working those 2 or 3 years at packaging stores and making boxes, putting flyers on doors for pizza places, just anything just to make money to help out the parents. But just, I got to do radio. And praying on it so hard. But showing up, like you said.
Yeah, and I think this is just for any of those, especially younger people watching. There is a process to everything new in life. There's a crawl, walk, run process, okay? So if I'm starting something new, I got to learn to crawl first before I can run. Now, I need to see myself running. I need to see myself there, like we talked about. That's part of faith. That's part of seeing this manifested in my life and meditating on these things. The Bible talks about meditation. However, one of the things I've noticed is that sometimes people they're like, okay, now I have the dream, I want it now. Well, there's this little thing called process.
Yeah.
You can have your plan and the promise, and the process is in between. And you have to pay your dues, though, to a degree. Like, people have to be willing to pay your dues, because you don't know what you don't know. There's a reason for paying dues.
Right.
You're going to pick up things you think you know. The fuel that's pushing you is that promise, that dream. And that's why you don't give up on it. But I want to encourage anybody right now, don't forsake the days of small beginnings. And don't get so upset like you got to have it now. Because most people, that doesn't work well, and it doesn't serve you well if you don't serve the process. I love to cook. I love making, a lot of Italian dishes, as you would imagine. But, and even making a cake. Nobody likes a half-baked cake. It's still a cake. You have all the ingredients there.
Right.
It's got to go through the timing.
Yeah.
And it's got to stay in there while it's hot. It's like, I think it's hot enough. It feels like I'm firm enough. No, you gotta see it to the end and be willing. And there's a balance, because I still got to be dreaming for more.
Well, everywhere you go to a restaurant, those dishes that take a long time to make are the best dishes.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you go to a restaurant, like, man, it's taking a while, but when it comes, like, oh man, that was worth it.
Yes. You've been to Ren and Wolf?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know they have that? Oh gosh, Chateaubriand deal, but it's got the herb crust on the outside.
I don't think
I should know this as a chef. I should know this.
I had that bone marrow thing.
But it's got
is it a steak?
Puff pastry is on the outside.
Oh, I didn't have that.
So it takes, if you order it, you can, and it's amazing. It's really one of the best ones I've ever had with the demi-glaze.
No,
but
I did have that.
Am I right? Was
yes,
it legit good?
No,
they bring
you're
it out
right.
on a tray and they cut it up for you?
Because, yes, I did have that. It was amazing, because I always ask a restaurant, what are you guys famous for?
Oh, for real?
And they brought that up. They're like, but I would order that now because it takes a while. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm looking it up because it's going to drive me crazy. We'll figure it out before the end of the show.
Yeah. That's a good cliffhanger. By the end of this podcast, we'll let you know
Actually,
exactly.
there's a bonus clip, and then I'll go ahead and do a show, Make It. I'll just make it.
Look at you.
But
It's like you've done this before.
what's that? Beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington.
Where am I at, bro?
You didn't do
Beef Wellington. No, but Beef Wellington. So that's the point, though. If you want that, it's really good. It's worth it.
It's worth it.
You can't have it in 10 minutes. You just can't.
Yeah. It's going to be so worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, was there ever a moment, like even in that process, where you really did consider giving up? Or maybe it wasn't worth it, or it just got too hard for you to
Oh,
go?
man, there were so many days. I don't think ever in my head,
Maybe not full on, but just like
full on. You know what? At one point, I did take a little detour, a little pivot, and say, okay, if I'm not going to get an interview at Power, because to me, Power was the goal. Then I started applying at every radio station.
Is Power the #1 station at the time
At the time, yes.
for that genre?
Yeah, and what I grew up on. You know, I was a hip hop kid, a backpacker, and that was the goal. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I got to get into radio. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna show them what they're missing out on.
Right.
So I worked. I sent applications to every radio station, including. I'm sorry, I know it's so huge. I get it. I tried. Even at the country station, which I don't listen
For
to
real?
then or that. Bro, classical stations. Some people that like K-Bach, K-Rock.
K-Bach. Is that even a real thing?
Yes, B-A-Q, Bach music. I was like, I'm
Somehow
classical.
I've missed that one. I don't know how I've lived my whole life and missed, but
I just, at that point, I was like,
crazy.
well, maybe I just got to work into radio and eventually circle back, and they're going to want to hire me. So there was that detour. And the funny little short story is I finally got another interview at their competitor. How great would this be?
Wow.
92.3 The Beat. Power 106. We talk about radio beefs. This is like crazy beef. So I was like, I got this interview at The Beat. They find out at Power, little Joey that's been applying here got an interview at The Beat. They call me like, why are you going to The Beat? I'm like, are you kidding me? I live, breathe, eat Power. So I go to The Beat. I'm sitting, rating it. I'm like, I'm going to kill this interview. Mariama Schneider, I have a crazy memory. Mariama Schneider was the promotions director. The front desk girl's like, hey, Mariama's on the line for you. I'm like, okay, hey, hi, Mariama. Like, Joey, I'm so sorry. A family emergency happened. I'll probably be out for the next few days. I'm going to call you back. We're really interested in you. We really want you on the street team. I'm like, okay. Just to let you know, I got an interview tomorrow at Power. And she's like, oh. She's like, I get it. Now, mind you, the day before, Power wanted to interview me before I went to The Beat, but I feel like that was wrong. Like, you're only going to interview me because I'm going to the competition.
You didn't want me enough before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a back burner.
Yeah, you're like, come on. Little FOMO before that was a thing.
So The Beat didn't work out, and I took the interview at Power. They hired me on the spot. They're like, we don't need an interview. We know you.
That's
so how my life could have changed, I went to the Beat. Yeah. And so it is what it is.
There's a couple things with that. Number one, I think when you're built to do something, when you start getting around it, there's a frequency that goes off inside of you. Like you knew once you showed up, like this is where I'm kind of supposed to be. Then when you start acting and doing those things, when they say, like, what do you do when you come alive? There is a truth to that. Because once you started, it's like you're like, this is where I'm meant to be. Like, besides the tenacity, you were meant to be there. And then finally to see it through and get there now 30 years later, I mean, that's pretty incredible. I mean, because most people right now, I forget the exact percentage, but most people show up to jobs they don't like.
Yeah, I believe
Most people do. Now, they may not hate it enough because usually we don't change enough till when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. Like that's when we end up changing. Like it's got to be that flip-flop. But if most people, even a lot of you watching this is why I want to encourage you. If you watch some of my other guests, a lot of people have these stories where they've switched gears, switched streams, and not only that, for different seasons of your life, because you haven't just been on the radio. It's not the only thing you do.
Yeah.
And what are some of the other things that you really love doing from a business standpoint, or just generating money? Like other stuff that you have been involved in?
Oh man, I mean, my first thing that I'm a father first, so everything is based on me being a father. I've always wanted to be a father. My parents had me when they were 17. They were babies when they had me, and I remember growing up like I want to be a young father, like my dad was. I want to be young, and it didn't happen. My first kid came at 30. So
Right.
funny, God, funny. And so
But you got a great family.
I got a great family. My kids are awesome. So I I base everything. I want my kids to be proud of me. I taught my kids and told them my story that I just told you about radio. I tell my kids, here's my job as your dad. My job is to find out what your passion is, and then we're going to figure out how we can make that a paycheck. And we can turn your passion into paycheck. Like, we going to be good.
I hope somebody heard that, because it's not just for your kids. That's for people watching this.
Make a paycheck out of your passion. You're going to be happy. My passion was radio. I always wanted to do it. Now, how do I make money off it? And that's what I teach my son, Jojo. At 20 years old, my 10-year-old Cruz, and my daughter, Gia. We're going to make your passion or paycheck. So I stay in tune with them. What are you interested in? And every kid, when you have multiple kids, they're multiple personalities and multiple interests. So I keep an eye. And thank God, oh my God, God, thank you. I think my little girl, she always wants to help daddy cook. Now, if I could put this girl to culinary school and she wants her own restaurant, daddy's going to be happy. I've always wanted one of my kids to go to culinary school.
Oh, really?
Oh, always.
Wow.
I thought that would be so cool. And I would totally invest in my child. Of course, you're going to invest in your kid.
Yeah.
If I can somehow have one of my kids want to be a chef or a cook, are you kidding me?
Oh.
I'd be so happy. I'm a foodie.
Yeah, you are. You are.
I'm always at restaurants, so I think Gia might have that little culinary school bug.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a father first, so that's my rule of thumb with my kids. You know, make your passion a paycheck. Besides that, you know, I've invested into restaurants. I've invested into a beard line. Like you said, I'm an entrepreneur. If it sounds good.
You're willing to take the risk.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the most, I would say successful, just say people that have earned the most. So I'm not saying that they are the most successful, but for people that do, they're not involved with one thing.
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between spread so thin. Some of you are spread so thin, you need to focus. However, once you find your base, you're more than that one thing. And let me just say this, you aren't your job. That's the point. Like this whole book about leaving your print, your identity. It's what I do. It's not the definition of who I am, because at some point in your life, you're not going to be able to do that job. Like somebody's a pro athlete. At some point, that career is going to be over. It's just the nature of life.
It really is.
You know, there's what happens to us naturally, physically. Then there's the environment of that industry. Industries change. Nobody can control that. You know, there's so many factors that if I make that I should love it, and it's important in my life, but I need to put it in the right place. It can't be my full identity, because it's not true. It's not exactly who I am. And I love how you're a family guy. And then and I know your mom is so sweet. I've got the chance to meet her. And I know you've been going back and forth with your dad, and we've been sending out prayers for him. But tell me about them. So he's a music background, right? Your dad. And was your mom, was she a dancer?
She would say like, she's his backup dancer. Like she's a salsera. She loves salsa music. So my dad, he's a percussionist. So my dad played congas and bongos and timbales for Latin jazz bands and salsa. That's all he's ever done in his whole life. So maybe that's the tenacity I have. Like he knew what he wanted to do. So he would tell everyone, I wanted to be in a salsa band since I was 5 years old.
Really? Okay.
So that's all he did. So my mom would go to his gigs. She's dancing on the side of the stage. Like, what a groupie. My dad just bagged a groupie. Exactly.
She's like, I got this. I got my eyes on this one.
So he's a musician through and through. So I think when I think back, I think when I was in junior high writing autographs, because my dad it's crazy. I didn't know that until this past, maybe in my 20s, I started realizing that my dad was like a salsa, I want to say like God, because I remember back in the days, kids, they had these things called landlines. You have to pick up the phone when your home phone rang. I would get calls from Tito Puente.
No.
Celia Cruz. Like
wow. I didn't realize that part of it.
Yes. So when they were in town, they want my dad, who was known as El Bonguero, you know, like the bongos. Yes. My dad was crazy on bongos. His hands were, my dad would just play solos.
They got have strong hands and they have calluses built up.
Calluses. His hands were just calloused out. He had these things. He played with the cowbell and the shekere. He had all these routines that Tito Puente, I'm going to do the Hollywood Bowl. I want Papo, which is my dad, on the bongo. So I remember going to these spots and people want to see my dad's autographs.
You got to perform there? You got to watch him perform at all?
Oh, yeah. That's all we did growing up in L.A. We go to parks and performances, and that's all we learned. And it's funny, like literally this past month, I realized my dad never taught us how to change a tire. He didn't know nothing about cars. He didn't take us camping, never taught us fishing. We never knew. He didn't teach us any of that stuff.
Right.
So I have to break that with my kids because my kids are like, can we go fishing? I don't know how to fish. Can we go to the lake? What do you do? How do you get to the lake? Like, I wasn't brought up that way.
Right.
So now I'm trying to change that. This Sunday, we're going to the lake.
Gotcha. Oh, that's cool.
There's a local park. They have like catch and release. And I'm going to start doing things. And my dad didn't do for me. Not that I have animosity towards that. No. It's all we knew is you're going with your dad. Yeah. That's his.
Yeah.
That's all he did. So we went to the park to watch him rehearse, to practice. We were I remember going into these clubs, these LA clubs, seedy clubs that smell like smoke, like Newports.
Oh, back then everybody could smoke. You could smoke.
Well, he had practice at a club at noon. So if my mom was working a regular job, he'd lugging his kids and we're just sitting in this smoke-filled room. You're like, that doesn't smell like cigarettes.
You're like, that's that oregano?
Yeah.
That basil?
They're drinking beers. I remember all this stuff of just like, man, I had a crazy childhood.
Bro, I didn't grow up fish hunting. If my parents weren't outdoorsy, I'm definitely more indoorsy.
Yeah.
But we went camping once. I remember I don't remember how old I was really little, but we left in the middle of the night because it was raining so bad. And we had this saying growing up. My mom's like, if I can't vacuum it, we're not staying in it, Dion.
I had a girl.
My dad's name is Dion. So like, Dion, we ain't. And so that was what it was. I really never went fishing. A few years ago, go with my buddy up in Grand Lake, Colorado, near Estes Park. 8,500 feet up. They have a house running the lake. We go out fishing. I've never done this before. It's like, we're going trout fishing. I'm like, all right, cool. What's this going to be like? So we're just out there, and then like, I get antsy, bro.
Yeah.
I get antsy. Now, I'm not nervous about being on a boat, but like, I need stuff happening.
Yeah.
And they're two older guys, and they're just chill. Like, they're like looking forward to just sitting there doing nothing. So now I'm sitting down. So this is where we're going into.
Yeah.
So then we're putting we got to stay between like 4 feet and whatever, 11 feet. And then we take the boat and we don't go any faster than this. And then we just kind of, drive around. And he had a fish finder, right? So we're going around and like I'm like, we got 4 poles in the water. And I'm like, now what do we do? He's like, well, we just wait till one of them gets on and we just grab it and get it. I'm like, all right, cool. So like, I'm expecting any minute now.
Yeah.
Like they're going to start biting, and they told us a time to go. They're like, here's the fishing time. So, bro, we get there. I'm like 30 minutes in, and we're just going around in circles because you have to stay in a certain area. And I'm like, we had a couple things that seemed like fish. You know what they were? It was like weeds. And I'm like, dude, how long? Your fish finder's broken, bro. You need to get something better. How are we driving around in circles? And it was so funny because they thought I was hysterical because I'm like, I'm on my phone, I'm shooting videos.
Oh yeah,
I'm uploading stuff.
That would be me.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, check this out. This is hysterical. They're like, yeah, I get it. Like,
Todd's doing TikTok.
I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm out here fishing, bro. I'm getting ready to take in a great white, the biggest trout ever. 15 minutes later, I'm like, dude, we're just still stuck here.
Oh, me and you are one of the same.
And I'm just like, I can't sit out here and do like. So I have respect for people that love doing it.
Absolutely.
Now we did catch some, so we go back.
Caught a cold.
Yeah, we go back. So I'm like, yeah, we got one, and apparently it was a good trout. So we get this trout, we go back, and he's like, do you want to clean this? I'm like, I'm okay with that. Like I did butchering too. So when I was in culinary school, I worked in butcher shop and all that. So I'm fine with it.
It's light work.
So he's like, you got to hold it tight. So bro, this is terrible. I'm holding the fish, and I'm like, just so he doesn't get away. He's like, dude, you're squeezing his insides out. I'm like, you didn't say anything. You got to be clear with me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't say like, be careful.
Yeah.
Like hold it firm. Anyway, we cooked them and they were really good. But I was like, yeah, I feel like, you know how much meat is on trout? Like almost nothing.
Oh, I was gonna say, it's a lot.
It's like 12 inches. Like it's like it's very little.
So you had like sushi
So
roll.
I'm like, okay, that was really good, but like we needed like 8 of these things.
Yeah.
And I feel like we could just buy it. Like really buy it. Like how cool would that be?
Then your
Like,
mom came out of you.
Yeah. Like, just get buy it and do this.
My mom was right.
Yeah, she was right.
No, you know what? It's just like you said. I love how people that are into it. It is experience, and that's what I'm going to try to do this weekend.
And we don't know who's going to love it. And if I was with, and I had a great, I make fun of it. I had a great time. I've gone back and done it again.
Yeah.
But the point is, here's the bigger point. Wherever you are in your life, whatever God gave you, you're meant to grow it.
Yeah.
So whatever's in my circle. So I took all the things in my life I put on this table. So what is it? Myself, my health, my finances. I have my kids. I have my job.
Yeah.
I have everything that God gave me as an expectation that I want to grow it. And I should be taking whatever my parents gave me, good, bad, ugly. And it's my responsibility, it's our responsibility now as men, as dads, to do our best to change whatever needs, make adjustments, and not just make it the best life, but actually pass something on to them that was better than I got.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, I think.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a process. It's a process of everything that I learned from being brought up with my parents and things that
What do you
didn't
think
learn
the
to do.
biggest lessons you got from your dad and your mom are? What would you say?
Oh man. I just had a conversation with my mom because they can't live with each other or without each other. It's a testament of Philly, old school Puerto Ricans. I don't know. They drive me crazy, man. My parents drive me crazy. And I went to go visit him. He's been sick last weekend, and they drive each other crazy. But as we were driving to the rehab center, because my dad is in the rehab center learning how to walk and how to stay stable before they send him back home. He's been in bad shape. I'm like, what are these, Mom? And it's a pile of CDs. Like, I don't remember the last time I got in the car and there were CDs.
Yeah.
So like what? I was like, oh, I remember this guy, Jay Rivera. I was like, old salsero. My mom like put it in his salsa music. And my mom starts crying. Like, what's wrong? She goes, it reminds me of your dad. I'm like, well, he jacked out. I was like, you want to hear Sexy Red or Cardi B? And she's like, what's that? I was like, oh, she talks about her booty brown and stuff. She's like, I get her laughing because that's my deflection. Like when people, I don't know how to, I'm the guy, like you said, that go to, that make you laugh of my family.
Yeah.
Like give to Joey, he's not going to take it seriously.
Right.
So if my mom's upset, Joey, call your mom and da-da-da.
Right.
Because I'll make her
And
laugh.
you're a fixer.
Yeah, have to be. So I get to my dad and, they're not talking again because they're upset at each other, drive each other crazy. And I get a text second day there. He goes, Bach, can you take your mom salsa dancing? All she does is work and come visit me at the rehab center every day. He's been there for 5 months.
I know, yeah.
So I said, Mom, we're going to Granadas. She's like, what? Yep, I heard your friends hang out there. We went salsa dancing and we had the best time. So I told her today, I was like, you guys drive each other crazy, but there's no way you guys can be apart. So what they taught me, with your question, long story long, is love, man. Till the wheels fall off. There is no plan B with this love thing. I've been through 2 divorces. I felt like in both situations, we both could have done better, but I didn't give up in either or. They wanted the divorce. The first one ended real amicable. Wished her well. It was nothing bad. It was nothing. This last one's fresh, couple years. Co-parenting is going great. I didn't give up on that marriage either.
Right.
So I just I can't be with someone that doesn't know if they're in love with me anymore. Can't do that. I was like, I'm not, but my parents has taught me till the wheels fall off.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you're gonna say I do, it's till the wheels fall off. I'm here. I'm not gonna give up on us. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna pray on it. I'm gonna go to therapy, whatever you need me to do. But you will never see me tap out.
Right.
I'm not tapping out at anything that I do.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's what they taught me. Seeing what they're still together, 70 years old, and they drive each other crazy. But there is no divorce. There is no because you guys still love each other. You drive each other crazy, but you're not gonna find anybody like this person.
Right. Right.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
So in your career, 30 years, tell me about, is there any highlight of celebrity singer or something where you had a moment that was almost just surreal for you? That was one of those
you know
moments
what? With this radio thing, 30 years, you don't know how big this artist is going to be when you interview them.
Good point.
Because they're not at their well, this artist specifically, I think he was at his pinnacle or getting there, but he got more famous after he died. So I became a fan of this rapper, of their music, their first album. I knew all the records. I bought the CDs, and I remember having a locker at the radio station I was working at in my locker, the cover of the CD. That's how big of a fan. And interviewed him 3 times. Would call him in the studio when he was working on the album. Biggie.
Oh, no way.
Became really tight with Puff and Biggie and the whole Bad Boy camp, and I interviewed him like a couple months before he died, and we would call him in the studio at Bad Boy Records. And my last memory of Biggie, I think Puff was in town in L.A., and this is right when the East Coast West Coast thing was really bad.
Beef was going, yeah.
So we got a lot of heat being L.A. kids on the night show, having Puff on, but he was always cool with us. He was, we'd bring his artists, and we were a big fan of all his artists, Craig Mack and Biggie and Total and Mace. So we're interviewing Puff about everything's coming out. And what's up with Big? Let's call him. So I think the studio was called Daddy's House. So we called, I put Big on. He's in the studio. And we're interviewing Biggie. We're like, Big, what's up? He's like, what's going on with you? What you working on? And then he says, now this is before the song actually drops. No one's heard this song yet. In retrospect, we know what he was talking about by that answer. Big, what's going on? What you working on? He was like, all I can say is, I'm going back to Cali. Now, we're in California.
Right.
Like, I get goosebumps thinking about this.
I just got goosebumps. Yeah, it's crazy.
We thought he was talking about he's going to visit Cali soon. We didn't know that he was giving us a snippet, going back to Cali. And that was my last memory. Then you flash forward a couple months. Unfortunately, he was killed when he came back to Cali.
Right.
And he was killed. And I remember where I was, and I was just in shock. And all the radio DJs went to the radio station to give their stories. And it was a wild time in radio. But that was by far, like, he's iconic now. But we didn't know he would be that iconic.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was my favorite rapper at the time that was unfortunately killed. But I didn't know he was going to be part of pop culture.
Who's been one of your favorite people like that you just had over the years? It's just like, man, it's just been good. I have an idea because I've seen you talk about him a lot, but I don't want to say it. But is there anybody that you've just kind of been like, man, this dude, whenever he's around, I remember him from way back, and it's just
Pitbull.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I was wondering if that was your
Pitbull.
answer. Yeah.
Like, I met Pitbull. I was a music director at a radio station in town, the hip hop station, and they would fly us out for like check out new artists. They're performing here, blah blah blah. There was a Snoop Dogg thing in Las Vegas. Snoop Dogg has new music coming out, and I'm talking early 2000s. And we flew at Snoop Dogg. So every music director's there is packed. And the opening act was Pitbull. And I thought he was Puerto Rican. I'm like, who is this Puerto Rican kid spitting? So when Snoop got off and Pitt got off, everyone's swarming Snoop. Now, Snoop is awesome. I've interviewed Snoop plenty of times, especially when we were in L.A. I wanted to talk to this guy, Pitbull. So I remember he had a big manager named Purple. And I met Purple. He was like, yeah, I wanted to meet Pitt. We met Pitt. And he just so appreciated so much. There was a long line of people wanting to talk to Snoop and get that one picture.
Right.
And we were taking time. Now, nobody was talking to him. Exchange numbers. Anytime you're in Phoenix, tap in. We're going to get to Phoenix. He came to Phoenix promoting a couple of songs, and we played Ulo and Dad.
Is this going back like 20 years?
This is his first album. This is his first single.
Wow.
No one even knew, and we found he was Cuban. He was from Miami.
Right.
Got his number, and he became really big here in Phoenix. And we were one of the first stations to play his record. Wow. And anytime he comes into town, I tap in with him. He makes sure that I got good seats, and he always shouts me out on stage.
Shout out because I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, were you there?
No, I saw clips of it.
Every time he's on stage, he thanks me for being one of the first
really
believers.
Nice,
So, I mean, this guy is. I mean, they call him Mr. Worldwide for a reason.
Right.
He has private jets, and he's a multi-millionaire. He's an entrepreneur.
That's the other thing I was going to say. I love that about him too.
Yes, he gives back. He has charter schools. He's just a great human who hasn't wavered. Anytime I see him, he's just the same dude. And you don't get that because there's been the opposite of artists I met. Like, oh, you switched up.
Yeah.
Baby Bash was another one. Great friendship with Baby Bash. Frankie J.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just some of these artists, but
but I would say too, it's just like anything in life. It's a people issue. There's good people. Like we always say, oh no, they're good people. Yeah. They're good people. Well, there's good people and there's bad people.
Right.
You know, and even when we talk about people's relationship with the Lord, I know you have a faith and you believe in God. There's a lot of people who really struggle with that. Even some people who may be watching this, and I love to say it this way. Like, I get it. But most of the time, part of the reason why we feel that way is because, we're judging God based on the people that represent him, which isn't fair. Because we have a people issue.
Right.
Like, if God doesn't come through or there's hard times, that's real. I feel that, right? Or people are doing things that are crazy in God's name, or supposedly they're saying this, but then they're living this. But that's part of life.
Yeah.
That's in every industry. So my point is, whether they're singers, I've had lawyers that are good, but I have some lawyers that have been bad. I have mechanics that have been good. Some mechanics have been bad. I don't stop going. But when you find good people, it matters. And even with what you do, how would you describe, like, you put these shows together? It's leadership. You have personalities. You're building a team.
Yes.
That's what makes it, because you're the leader, but you have a team there. And it means very entertaining. You guys do a great job. You've been in multiple cities in the biggest markets in the country for the most part, right? I mean, some of the biggest markets. So what do you think some of the attributes have been in building that over the years? Or what have you learned? Or if somebody's like, hey, I need to build this great team, even for a radio, like, what are the qualities do you think that make it up? And then, you've handpicked people, right?
Yes.
To be on there. Like,
absolutely. Well, this last show, I was in Chicago with a handpicked show before moving to Chicago, and some of the members were with me for 8 years. The other were 4 years, and they took us to Chicago, and I knew very well into it within 6 months. Y'all lied to us. This is not what y'all promised. I'm not making the money you promised me.
Right.
I'm not getting the endorsements. There is no marketing money. There's no promotion. So I decided, and I'm glad I did the Chicago move because it made me realize how much I love Phoenix. I love it here. I'm never moving again. People like, my contract is up. My contract is up this year. So I call my agent. I'm like, there's interest. I'm not moving anywhere. This is home. But after Chicago, while we're there in an amazing city, the show doesn't want to come back. I'm like, I got to get out of here because this ain't it.
Right.
I know it in my gut. I go with my gut, my
Yeah.
intuition, that Philly mentality.
Yeah.
Like, this
You
ain't
can't
it.
ignore that.
This
You
ain't
can't
it,
ignore
son. I'm telling you,
Come on,
son.
Rock.
Come on,
Rock.
Word is bond, son. Yo, if I tell you that they shut us up, son. I was so like, I had to follow my intuition. I came back and the show stayed on, and unfortunately, I got let go 4 months later. And I wished them well, and it wasn't like ill will,
Right.
but I had to form a new show coming back. So I'm on Instagram looking like, let's interview this person, let's audition this person. I handpicked the show. And I think what I learned with all these shows is if I have a team of 4 people under me, I got to teach them and tell them the same thing differently, but have the same outcome. Because this
good.
person you have to hold their hand. You got to say it delicately. This person, you got to check them real quick.
Right.
This person, they have your back all the time. You just got to get them in. So I learned leading a team, you got to tell them all the same thing to get the same outcome, but differently, maybe in a private meeting or in a phone call. Some people need to be coddled. Some people like me, I like no sugarcoating. Tell me what it is.
Yeah.
I work better that way.
Right.
Don't beat around the bush to tell me that show sucked.
Right.
Or I think you could have did this better. This is why. Not be like, I feel that. Okay, I can take it. I have a thick skin. But some people can't.
Right.
So I could tell that to one person on my show that they don't like sugarcoating. The other person, if you tell them that, their week is ruined.
Yeah, you crushed them.
You crushed them.
their spirit, and you're not
Can't
getting
do
the
that.
outcome you want.
Not going to get the outcome.
Yeah.
That's what I learned about leading a team.
Bro, that is a great leadership principle, and I put it this way. For relationships and working with relationships, I have to get to know, acknowledge, and accept who that person is.
Yes.
Okay? Now, there are leaders out there that just want to lead strong, and they're like, it's just my way. You have to be decisive as a leader. You have to have vision as a leader. You have to be strong as a leader. Yes. But you don't need to be a tyrant as a leader because then you create people that are just compliant, and then you're not even looking to develop them.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
when I develop the people on my team, they actually serve me better. It actually serves me.
Absolutely.
And that, like, I'm actually sowing into my future, but I'm also sowing into them. Also, by the way, people sowed into me.
Yes.
So the greatest leaders, and I would say that's an element of servant leaders, I have to know, acknowledge, accept, and then this one. I got to make adjustments based on who
Yes.
they are, not who I am.
That's an important one because I wasn't always like this. It took many, many years to get to this point. I have that Puerto Rican hot blood in me. I got that Philly mentality. Yo, son, because I said so.
Right.
This is the
That's
way
it.
it is. And I had to learn to adjust. So this isn't me. Even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was a hothead. Like, it had to be my way.
Yeah.
I'm in this. It has to be. And I had to learn, like, you know what? This is not working.
Right.
So I had to adjust,
It's so
adapt, and I
smart.
realized that, okay, this person works well this way, and I could get the same outcome if I just tell this person this way. So that's been the biggest difference. I have such a great, amazing show with a great relationship.
Yeah.
And
you have great personalities. You're fun.
It's
you guys
such
are
a fun show.
sincere. The
It's-
other thing I
it's
love
true.
about you too, while you're here, man, you have a big heart to help your people, the people that are in your circle, man. You are the guy, you're a go-to guy for other people.
Yes.
Even when it doesn't necessarily benefit you, like you've been there for so many other people, which is a great, I mean, Jesus said this, he put it this way, hey, if you want to be great, they asked Jesus, if you want to be great, what's the greatest commandment? He said, well, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the greatest commandment that Jesus said.
Wait,
So
what's that last one?
he said, love your
thy
neighbor
neighbor
as yourself.
As yourself. I like
So
that.
what would the world look like? You know, if I'm thinking about even in the hardest times that I've had, because I've had some low times and ups and downs in life that happen and not understanding, like, God, we were touching on this a little bit before, you know, why is this happening? You know,
Yes.
but part of it for me, my true north for me personally is like, I try to drill into really simplistic things, meaning, okay, I get my head right, my mindset right, got to pray, got to wait. I'm going to have to wait some of this stuff out and figure it out. But the other thing I'm going to do while I'm waiting is I'm going to focus on really how do I love God? How do I love people? I don't want to stop doing that. So if there's little things I can do, I will ramp it up. Text message, buy somebody dinner, somebody has, you know what I mean? And it doesn't always need to cost you money,
Right.
but it's what it's doing. It's taking me out of myself. I already know what my problem is, and it's already big enough without me focusing on it even more or being consumed by it. And by putting that on others, all of a sudden, it's one of the ways of us leaving it in God's hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just honoring what he loves the most, which he's like, he could have said anything, Joe. He could have said, he could have been like, hey, the greatest commandment, like, sell everything you have and just don't, you know, he could have said, learn all the Greek and Hebrew words and then do these. Or here's, you got 10 commandments, I got 10 more. He didn't. He kept it really simple. And I think the greatest Christians I've ever met, and it's sad to me, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. Some of the things that my dad was a pastor, I've grown up in church my whole life.
You a PK.
So, PK, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I survived, and I still love the church, and I still love people. But I do think that when you go through things, you know, you obviously being in the church world, you see the pluses, you see the minuses, and you decide the person you want to be. Nobody makes you become anything.
Right.
I can't change the atmosphere that's around me, but I get a chance to choose and say, okay, this is the one I be. You know, this is the person I want to be, and it's like I want to live a life that loves people, that cared for people, that was a servant. Yeah, I still followed my dream, and I made myself a priority where I need to. But at the same time, there's a reality of my life. It's not theory. It's not something we just. It's real. So, anyway,
I love that.
Yeah,
It's been a long road, man. Yeah, but to get to that point, to this point, I'm realizing my happy. For so long, and like I said, my passion for radio is crazy, but at one point, it wasn't fun anymore. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, and that was and I prayed on that, and then I'm happy to say I love back where I'm at, man. I love doing what I do.
You have a really cool phrase that you've done with your kids and on the show, where you ask people a question.
What's your wonder?
What's your wonder?
Yeah. What's your wonder?
Yeah. Tell us about that.
What's your wonder? It's when I'm teaching my show. The show that I have now didn't really know how to do a morning show like this. I mean, Sienna, born and bred here, Phoenix. She's Arizona Coyotes cheerleader. She's the in-game host at D-backs game. She's just such a beautiful soul. Great, awesome husband. Didn't know radio at all. Never did anything in radio.
Wow.
I met her and literally in Chicago, and I had to come up with a show. And my other friend who goes to Impact, Vanessa Ramirez.
Yeah, Vanessa.
I was in Chicago, thumbing through Instagram. I saw Vanessa. I was like, who's this girl that looks like Vanessa? Who is this? And it was Sienna. And I clicked on her. I'm like, she's on the mic. I'm like, something called me. Something told me. Took her picture, sent it to my boss. Like, what's up with this girl? He's like, do you know who that is? I go, her name is Sienna. Look at her last name. I go, Villa? He goes, he's our good friend's cousin, baby cousin, Chris Villa, the top DJ in Phoenix.
Oh my God.
I'm like, this is Chris Villa's little cousin? I was like, get her in for an audition.
Right.
She didn't ask to do radio, but he did say, and years before that, she did an internship at the radio station. Oh. Never knew that.
Huh.
So I was like, that's a red flag. I don't remember her. So she must have not auditioned her right then. I knew.
Wow.
JD, he was my intern 15 years ago. 15 an intern. So I knew he did. Like, let's pair you guys up. So I taught him, what's your wonder? If you're listening to our show, what's your wonder while you're listening? Like, what do you mean? Like, well, JD, you want to talk about fantasy football. If our core audience is a woman, a mom, going to work, dropping our kids off to school, do you think she wants to hear about your fantasy football picks? He's like, probably not. I was like, well, that's what you got to focus on. What is your wonder? And when I'm talking to you and I'm listening to you, I'm going to ask in my head, what's my wonder? You know, simply like you saying, talking about like, you know, God gave you your height. My wonder is, well, what height would you have wanted God to give you?
Right.
My mind is always working that way. So I've taught my show how to think, what's your wonder? And I can see it when they're interviewing, when we're talking, I can see them looking at me because they're searching for their wonder of what I'm talking about.
Right.
I go, aha, okay, now this is working. Because now you're asking the questions and I'm giving you the story and giving the answer. Now we're having a great conversation over the air or when you're interviewing artists. And I have my kids do the same thing. What's your wonder? You know? And I can see that they practice that because I preach it.
Yeah.
Like always live in your wonder.
Yeah.
What do you wonder? Why is that? Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? That starts elementary, but then after a while, you start asking what you wonder. Now you're more educated about something.
Yes. Well, I think it's that's a great question. It's multifaceted.
Totally.
I'm a curious individual, always been curious.
Same.
So it expands again. I only know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. I am limited by my exposure.
Yes.
Everything
Absolutely.
I learn from somebody else.
Yes.
Right? So I learn to tie my shoes, I learn the alphabet. So that only comes from other people to whom I am exposed to.
Yes.
Right? So my exposure limits me. And then how I view it, how I show up to something is how I treat it. Right?
Yes.
So how I show up to life, if I'm showing up with that's why I love that word, wonder. And truthfully, as people get older, they dream less. They
That
lose
is so
the
true.
sense, they lose the sense of like, dream, oh, that's dumb. That's not good. There's people watching this. They've got so many dreams and so many
Yes.
good ideas. And like some of the things not everything works out to be a goal, a Facebook.
Yeah.
But like you don't want to lose that sense of wonder. And I'll say, even from a Bible standpoint, think about this. Jesus said, you're going to have faith like a little child. That's a powerful statement,
It's
dude.
amazing.
Like, why? Because kids have the ability, and over time, we just lose that sense of wonder and exploration, and we don't need to be weird about it. It's just being practical because you're friggin' alive, and we're in a big world.
I mean, that's why my favorite thing is to be a dad, and I think it helps me out every day as I get older, or even deal with my show. I just look at my kids in amazement and look through their eyes of this world, and like, what's their wonder? And I was telling you, and I'll share with your audience here. It was the cutest thing. I'm in a new relationship, and I was letting my kids know, and I let them know, like, yeah, me and mommy aren't together anymore. Do you have friends in school that may be? And my 10-year-old Cruz, who's really sharp, he's like, oh, divorce? Yeah, all my friends' parents are divorced. I'm like, okay, well, that softened the blow. So divorce. Like, well, me and mommy in divorce.
Right.
She's gonna meet someone else. I'm gonna meet someone else, and I can't wait for mommy to find her new man, and mommy's excited for me to find my new person. Well, guess what, kids? Daddy found someone new, and they're looking at each other like, what? And like, yeah, I can't wait. Any guesses who it is? They couldn't guess, and I told them who it was. They were happy. And the first thing my 10-year-old son says, does grandmom know? So that was very interesting to me, because then here's my wonder. Why is that the first thing that he wonders? Does grandma, not does his mom know?
Right.
Does the oldest son know? Does the show know?
Yeah.
Does your mom know? Does grandmom know? And then you said something that I thought. You said that it's probably because...
Yeah, because he says how much you respect and love her and how much you value her in your life.
Yes.
That's
Does your
that's
mom
something
know?
You've never told him.
Yes.
It's how you live.
Yes, because he knows I respect my mom. And is your mom okay? Is your mom okay with this?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to get in trouble by your mom? And I thought it was the
Right.
cutest thing. And my wonder's like, oh, no, grandma knows.
Yeah.
Grandma knows. Yeah,
Right.
no, she's good with it. Are you guys good with it?
Yeah, that's cool.
So the wonder thing is something I apply to my kids, and hopefully your audience says, try it out. Always encourage your kids, your coworkers, and yourself. Ask yourself, what is your wonder when you're going to work, you're having a conversation, could be something multifaceted, like you said. It could be anything in life. What is your wonder?
Yeah.
My wonder is, how many times do they rent this place out? Who designed this place?
And you're like, I wonder how much they make. How much do they make?
Yeah. And like
Which
you
is
said,
good.
you walk out, now you know. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm like, you make how much? I was like, let me open one in Tempe real quick. You know what I mean? That's my wonder. I really do.
Joey
How much
Boy
is
Studios coming soon. Yeah.
Like, is that plant real?
Yeah.
I'm always looking at something with wonder.
Has Jacob been awake this whole time?
Yeah,
He
is he
sits over there.
interested?
He hasn't contributed one bit to this
But
conversation.
I've seen him snicker or something, and I keep a mental note what he finds funny.
Did you? Okay.
Oh, yes.
We love Jacob. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be here without you, buddy. We're just
Because
teasing
I've
you.
done these before where people are there and they're just like, they won't say nothing.
Like, are you even here, bro? I think he's here though. If you notice, he's eating protein and rice. He's
I
one of
did
those
notice that.
Scottsdale guys. He's like
I
got
did.
he's got you fixed that ahead of time too. You meal prepped, didn't you?
That was my wonder.
You meal prepped, didn't you?
That's why I was like, did he buy that or did he prep that?
Let me just tell you, know what meal prep was for me in Jersey? Meal prep is like you get there, you got chicken cutlets, you got some prosciutto and fresh mozzarella, you got some bread. Like, meal prep in an Italian family in Jersey is very different.
Very different,
than the meal prep in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Like
It's usually chicken and rice and veggies.
And when I first saw it, I thought, "Is this rations? Are they really, you don't have money, bro? I'll buy you something, bro. Let me get you something for real, because this is just a starter. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. But as you see, I literally use that in every aspect of my life. I always have wonder, because you're right. If you can live through the eyes of a child, man, it's so pure, and you educate yourself every day. Always adjust, always adapt. Go through life wondering. Walk into a place and wonder, what's that guy's deal over there? What's his name?
What happens is, and I'm no scientist because I barely got out of school. They were happy to see me go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, hey, should I stay for summer? They're like, you know what? It's good. We're good. We're gonna let you go.
Yeah.
God bless you. You're really a good heart.
And also with you.
Yeah, also with you. Yes. But I've always loved traveling. One of the things I love traveling is about just being in these different places. And like I was telling you about Rwanda and going to Thailand.
Yes.
And I've done a lot in Latin America. So even with the book, everything I'm launching, everything's in Spanish too. I've always had this thing with like Latin America. I know how to speak a little Spanish. So I love when you said congas. It's not congas.
Yeah, it's not congas.
Bongos.
It's bongo.
Bongo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but that has helped shape who I am. It's helped me be better with people. It's helped me understand. And some of these trips, I go and I'm there and we're doing cool stuff, but it helps me, it gets me out of here.
Yes.
And something happens I can't explain. I can't do that at just a weekend at the Princess or taking some time off. And remember we were talking about that idea of like rest and rejuvenated or rest and refocus. There's two different things. And you can't do that full refocus and for me.
Yes.
In the same environment. I have to be pulled out. And part of that, it stimulates something in your brain that you're out of this environment, the feels and all. It allows you to explore and dream a little bit bigger than you ever could when you're just focused in it every day.
Well, I think it gives you a sense of purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. You're able to see it more.
Yeah. It's tangible. It's like you feel it. Like when I came back from Chicago to form this new show, my boss was funny. Big shot Chris Hernandez, aka DJ Decipher, was my assistant back in the days at the same radio station. Now he's my boss, but we're friends. And he's like, Joey, I think what your purpose is you love teaching. You love teaching this radio thing, and you're great at it. And you've, like, a lot of people you hear on radio out here, even in Phoenix, they were either my intern, my producer, my partner at one time. And I'm like, you're right. I do enjoy teaching this radio thing. Sienna, she never even...
That's amazing.
She didn't hit me up. I hit her up. And for some reason...
And never did radio at all.
Never did radio.
Yeah.
And I just saw it in her. I was like, oh, you're good. I'm going to make you a star. You know, I just love teaching radio because I'm not a gatekeeper. I want to teach. Like, all right, who's the next generation?
So, and then we're going to wrap up here in a second. But I also think it's one of the signs of maturity is where the student becomes a teacher.
Absolutely.
One of the signs of maturity, just taking another step. It's not even like, I know so much, I just want to be the big man. It's like, because I care about people and because I love what I do so much, I want them to be good at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not going to have this forever.
Yeah.
We don't know how much time we have. Like we have multiple years. I mean, the average person lives to be 75, 76 years old. So if I'm 50, then that means I got 25, 26 more summers. I got 25, 26 more Christmases. I have only so much work life at my best capacity, you know? Yeah. And so it's like, you start shifting at a certain age to my second half of life. So that can happen in your 40s, whatever. I focus a lot on this stuff, right? Like as a purpose strategist, I've been using that because it really is important for me to see that but it's a sign of maturity when people are really, whatever they do, they get to a point to where, okay, I've done it for myself. Yeah. I've done it at this level. I want to keep making money and I'm involved in these things. But when you care about something, you want somebody else
to carry on the torch,
to carry it on. And whether you're benefiting it or not, it's in you. It's in you to give, and you know more than you forgot more than you know, right? Yeah. Because you just know it. Yeah. So let me ask you this, as we're kind of wrapping up here, if you could sit down with anybody living or has passed away to interview them or have them on your show, who would it be?
That's a good one. I think an interesting person. Between two, but I think Will Smith.
Really?
Yeah, Will Smith.
What?
I think it would be Will Smith. He's from Philly.
I know he's from Philly. I mean, he's had some drama. I mean,
he had drama, and I would want to talk about that drama.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, do you really regret that? I mean, not
highlighting his last music release, right?
Oh, the last music was horrible.
That was like, I don't know. I felt like the music slapped him.
Yeah,
Like,
that was just
rough.
But I
know I'm
feel
not trying
like
to make fun of him, but yeah.
no, but
why
I feel
would
like
you-
in a few years he'll realize that was a mistake. Mm-hmm. You know, I think he'll laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of these actors, I've interviewed actors when you have them on and they're talking about their latest movie and you've seen the preview and it's horrible. They have to sell it. You have to sell it. He's supposed to sell his music.
100%.
But I think in a few years,
Good point.
he's gonna be like, yeah, that wasn't it. But I just find his story really, really interesting of him being a father and him and Jada all those years of making that crazy marriage work and entanglement and him being from Philly and partnerships and seeing both sides of being rich and famous.
And losing it all, like basically early on. Remember Fresh Prince? He tells that story about, I think he almost lost everything.
Did he just spend it all or something like
spend
that?
it. I think he had so many cars, and his dad said,
yes.
How many, because he had all these cars, he says, how many butts do you have? Like, you have one.
Yeah.
You need one car. Something like that. Yeah.
I think Will Smith has always been
So
on top
who
of
would
the
be
list.
the other one? Will Smith, or who was the tie?
You know what I found interesting because I was just talking about this with JD on my show because I'm going to Philly. I want to teach the kids because I just got by in school, but I really was I liked history. So Philly, just to me, is like, I think it's cool to watch the Declaration of Independence for some reason. Like, I was a hip hop kid. I just wanted to listen to my hip hop music, be a b-boy, go party, drink. But history really got to me for some reason. So I feel like, God, the president, like, which president would I want to interview? And just like tell me about this JFK file. You know, these aliens. Come on, bro. Just let me know. Are they real? Are we in contact? I would want to know all the secrets that obviously the president knows. So probably Barack.
Right.
Maybe just so he can tell me those secrets. You know, and then talk. I know he likes hip hop.
Right.
So I would.
It would be interesting.
He loves a lot of things that I love: hip hop, basketball, and then he has the files, bro. Most importantly, are these aliens real, bro?
Receipts.
Yeah, like tell me, JFK, who did it?
Right.
You know, was it Jack Ruby? Why'd he kill Oswald?
Like, did we go to the moon?
Did we go to? Was that
did
fake?
We there? Like, did we really?
I
get
feel
there?
like the president has to be.
Yeah.
There has to be a meeting. Okay, all right. You're the president. Sit down.
At this point, you could figure it out if you want to.
You're the president,
truth.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's someone else that probably has to say, all right, sit down. You ain't going to believe this.
Right.
And
like, give us your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I've always been intrigued on what we don't know.
Right.
Conspiracy theories.
Right.
And I feel like the only person that would really, really know is the president.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's fair enough. I'm with you.
I feel like
I would've never picked up.
we've
That's a
talked
good
about
one.
hip hop and music and religion, and we went everywhere. So I'm thinking, who can I have a roundabout conversation where it's not about? I don't want to talk about politics. That's the least thing I want to talk about.
Right.
But Barack likes hip hop and basketball, which I love basketball. So I feel like maybe JFK actually.
Right.
Did you see who killed you, bro? Because I'm really trying to find. Watch JFK the movie.
Yeah,
He's
like what happened beforehand? Was anybody telling you stuff? Like, be careful of this guy.
I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, those would be the two. That would be the one passing, and Will Smith. I would like to sit down. Like, what happened, bro? What's going on? Who told you that music was good?
Let me ask you this: if you could go to heaven, and God said, "I'm gonna let you FaceTime somebody," and you get a few minutes
in
to
heaven
talk
to FaceTime one person.
Yeah, you can FaceTime somebody in heaven. Who would it be?
If I could FaceTime someone here who's passed away.
Yes.
Right now. My grandmother.
Really?
Yeah, my dad's mom. I was really close. I got her. I was really close to her. You know, the interesting thing when we're doing this podcast, I was raised Catholic, and she was hardcore, stone cold Catholic. I mean, the veil on the whole old lady, and just sit, kneel, stand up, the whole nine. Big churches,
like Shiite Catholic.
Catholic, Latin Catholic, Puerto Rican Catholic.
Yeah.
And then there was just movement in my family, the Rodriguez family. There was a lot of bad things happening in my family. Like
really?
Overdoses, and my cousins get killed by drive-bys, and people dying of AIDS and suicide. There was they started calling it the Rodriguez curse for 10 years. And it was really affecting me, like 80s, 90s. She turned and she went Christian.
Wow.
Went to Christianity, and every time I would go visit her, she's the first person. I had to go see my grandma. I was really, really close, and everybody knew I was the favorite grandchild. I was her Joey, and she was.
I was too on my side too.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I was the firstborn on my dad's side. Yeah,
and me too.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, the firstborn. So I had this special. She had a lot of grandchildren, but I was her Joey. I go in and have and she sat me down. She going to church. I was like, no, well, I don't want to. This is when I'm in radio. I'm just partying, and I know. And she told me in her broken English, I don't care who you pray on. And I don't care what you believe in, just believe in something. She just wanted me to believe in something.
Yeah, yeah.
To her, it was like, if you're Catholic, you're a Christian, whatever.
Yeah.
She just wanted me to believe in something. And I felt like that was real powerful for me. She was like, she was not trying to, you have to be Catholic. You have to be Christian.
Wow.
Just believe in something.
Right.
And that always stuck with me. And I always prayed, but she didn't care. She just wanted me to
Right.
believe in something. And I found an old bill of hers, and this is her signature.
Oh, that's
From
so
an
cool.
old bill. Like, I think she wrote it on a
love that.
check, and I had it.
What was her name?
signature. Maria Rodriguez, 17 R's.
Maria
But everyone called her
Rodriguez.
Susa. Was her
Cool.
nickname. So everyone called her Abuela Susa. The whole block knew her. She was very, very serious.
No
she
nonsense.
was no nonsense. What Abuela Susa said. She was yeller. She yelled at everybody.
Was she little?
She was a big woman, but yeah, tiny in stature, probably 5'3".
Okay, yeah.
Big woman, big voice. And I never took her seriously. She didn't scare me, and she knew it. And I would make her laugh, and she slapped me because she knows.
Right.
And I loved her so much, and that one phrase stuck with me a long time to this day. And that I tell my kids, trying to figure out who they want to be and their faith. And I'm like, whatever you believe in. I go, I got friends that practice Buddhism, Hinduism, Catholic, just believe in something.
Well, I think too, you need to live with a conviction. Then everybody's going to have a philosophy. Everybody's going to choose to live on something. If you choose to live on nothing, then doesn't mean your life means nothing. It just means you're going to miss out on a lot of things intentionally that you could have.
Right.
And there's so many promises from God that I believe. So that's important. So last question. If, you get to the end of your life, you've had your career, your family, what would be the most important, some of the things that you would want to be said of I recently did a funeral for a friend of mine, and he was 55, 56, he had colon cancer.
Young.
And young, he has young kids. But, everybody's going to leave. We're all leaving. We're one step closer. This is meant to be dark, but it's meant to be, we're all writing our story now.
Yeah.
We have the pen.
Yeah.
Now, I can't control what somebody else interprets, but what would I want it to be? What would you want that legacy
so funny you're
pass
asking
on
this,
to
bro.
be for your life, your family?
I got this new girl in my life, right?
Yeah.
Older than her. So she asked me all these questions, getting to know me. She's asking me the same kind of questions you're asking me.
Oh,
which is
really?
crazy. Like, I go, when it's all said and done, I told her, I would love to be on a porch. And I can picture it. I feel like it's going to happen. I'm on a porch. I don't know where this porch is at. I just can picture this porch, and I'm there just on a chair with my person. And I tell her, I hope you're my person, because I'm not doing this. I just want a person. And just looking at her like, man, that was a cool life. That's it.
Right.
Just really like, man, that was fun. What a great life I lived.
Yeah.
Or looking at my kids like, man, that's pretty cool. Look how successful they all are. Look how happy they are. And I just told her, I was like, that's all I want. I just want to look back at it when I know the end is coming. I'm like, man, that was a cool life. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
That's good.
That's it. I just want my life to have purpose, and just really just to dumb it down. Man, that was fun. I don't know what's on the other side. Who knows what's next? But I told her that literally like 3 days ago. It's so funny you asked that. I was like, I could see myself on a porch, and I just want to exhale.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's good, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing those stories with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for your encouragement. For those of you watching, you can go on, follow him on Instagram. He's 101.5 here in Phoenix. He's always around. You're always doing appearances, man. You're one of the hardest working people in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I love that. I respect it. And just to leave you with this, he has a story. I have a story. That 15-year-old kid that had a dream that just refused to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have known that you'd be where you are exactly now? We don't know everything, but follow your intuition, follow the leading of God, follow that passion in your heart, be somebody that refuses to give up, and embrace life, because it is the greatest gift you and I were ever given. The second best thing we could do with that gift is giving it back and honoring it. I say giving it back to God with whatever talents he's given to me. I want to grow them to be the best that they possibly can be. And when I leave this place, the world was better.
Yes.
Because we were here.
Absolutely.
So, thank you. God bless you guys. We'll see you next episode.